Okay. So we got, oh no. Do I have to get both of them? Or maybe, I'm sorry? Maybe the pink one will put both of them on. Okay, there we go. This is another one of those control panels, right? Should we set it to lunch again? Yep, actually, I did some research into these, and the other two options are meaningless. We already know what unpaid overtime does, and then break only lasts for 5 seconds. 5? What the hell are you supposed to do in 5 seconds? Take a deep breath. Regardless, those options are no longer useful to us. It's probably best we simply choose lunch from now on. Now changing to shifts, lunch. Now is it both of them or just the pink one? Okay. Oh yeah, looks like the blue ones are slowed down too. Kind of worried about that. Oh, this is why we want to clear out every enemy. I wonder. There's probably not a pacifist challenge for this. What was the game that I was playing a while back? Oh yeah, Kingdom Hearts. They're like level 1 challenges for Kingdom Hearts. I wonder if there's like anything similar for this game. Okay, so these guys are weak to lightning, psi, and light. I got all of those, but not on Thoth. Why was I on Thoth? I have no idea. Oh, that's okay. Oh, did I miss? I missed. There we go. That's the stuff. Christ, a 5-second break. The sad thing is, like, I've known people that thought this was okay. That think this is okay. I was talking about this the other night, in a different game. Right, we were playing Guild Wars 2. But there's a controversy kind of going on over, like, McDonald's workers and whether or not they should be paid more than absolute minimum wage. And, you know, they've been... Oh, hello. Oh, no, it's break time's over. How do you progress in Kingdom Hearts without killing anything? Carefully. Yeah. Also, like, you can get gear and a couple other things, but it is hard as shit from what I remember. But there were some YouTubers that were weighing in on the whole thing, being like, they should just get real jobs, and, like, working at McDonald's isn't working. I'm like, well, what? Are you actually serious? You are actually serious. That is beyond stupid. That is like the most grunt labor you could possibly have to do, and it generally just sucks. That's more real work than I'm doing. So when I see like other YouTubers kind of doing that sort of thing, it's just like, no, 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 shut up. You are sitting on top of a golden egg, and it is feeding your family. Do not come off as hoity-toity as a result of it. That is terrible. Okay. We're getting close to a door. I'm gonna turn the dialogue back on just in case, even if it's kind of obnoxious. Okay. So that's just for getting back. Why would you ever go back, though? I'd warp via safe rooms or something. You're getting a job at McDonald's is actually really hard. Depends on the area you live in. For my town, McDonald's was like the dump job that everybody would take while they wait to get into Burger King, which is hilarious. At least for me. I don't know. You'd think they'd be kind of equal in I guess, in terms of an employment, but apparently the McDonald's manager was atrocious. But yeah, it's also one of those where, like, working kind of minimum wagey, you know, McDonald's or Subway or anywhere, like, that's not an option for some people. That is literally the only thing they can do. I know another YouTuber friend who works at Starbucks for a living because he simply can't find a better job. And I gotta give him a lot of props for that. It's like... Take some effort. Okay. Do Mediarama. Mediarama? I don't know. They're asking for $15 an hour at McDonald's. Sure, why not? I mean, the thing is, McDonald's can totally afford to pay that. That's part of it. Let's do nuclear. We'll get magicked back in the face, but we can immediately roll a light spell instead. Oh, sure. Well, there he goes. That was confusing. Oh, can't switch again. Well, we'll just do this again. I don't know. Let's see. I'll just keep blocking. But yeah, honestly, like, $15 an hour probably should be our minimum wage. It kind of messed the economy up in some interesting ways, but at the same time, like, holy shit, you cannot live on an $8 an hour wage. I had some friends that tried, and it was not pretty watching them try and pay all of their bills. They were not happy about it. But yeah, the point of business is to minimize costs, as sad as that is. Yep, which sucks. That's why, you know, federal minimum wages should have actually been increased with inflation over the past 30 years instead of totally stagnant. Because inflation has just increased so much more than wages have, at least on the baseline level, and it's not healthy when, like, you're poor, literally can't, like, afford to even pay for everything. There was a document that went out a long time ago. When I say a long time ago, I mean like 5 years ago or something like that. There was the McDonald's plan on, it was like the business work-life plan or something like that. And it was just like this hilariously out of touch, it was like this hilariously out of touch, PS, was it a PS? No, it was a PDF. It was like a PDF that was like a budget for a full-time McDonald's worker. And it didn't include stuff like, you know, car payments, gas. Oh. Look. For the company, for our wonderful President Okamura, I do this with joy. I do this with joy. They're still respecting him, even though they probably see coworkers collapse from getting overworked. It's mind control. They've been purposefully driven into a state of over-adaption. Over what? When a person is continually faced with oppression, they come to welcome its presence. Such psychological trickery is being used here. I experienced it firsthand for many years. Fox. So these robots exist because Father is aware he's exploiting his employees? Yes, we should be careful though. I doubt we'll be able to communicate with these ones. We'll probably go straight into battle when we approach them. I suggest you prepare beforehand. Set it to launch. Gotta run for this one. Let's see. Let's go with this. Okay. Oh yeah, so the McDonald's work-life plan. But it didn't include stuff like car payments, car insurance, health insurance. The diet pretty much would only cover like ramen noodles and just like several other comically out of touch like missing things, and it was super bad. And it just, I don't know. I just have a really hard time kind of respecting the whole, like, you know, we have to pay the absolute minimum wage to keep our business going. Learned about this today in college. Raising the mandatory minimum wage helps the person barely surviving on scraps get a better spot. Hurts business owners who aren't as well off as McDonald's. Makes it so they have to cut their workforces or not hire anymore. Yeah, sort of. So the thing is, like, I used to work at one of those companies. I got paid, I guess I got paid 1.5 times minimum wage, which is, what, $12 an hour? That was not much. I actually earned that much at a couple of different businesses. They could afford to pay me more, they just didn't want to. And, like, I understand that there are some businesses that won't survive without being able to cut that cost that much, but I still don't believe that that should come on the backs of the absolute poorest individuals in society. Like, I would much rather have much larger, like, tax breaks or even, like, you know, other benefits paid out to, you know, small businesses that need it, as opposed to, like, McDonald's and stuff. Because you really don't want to base, you really don't want to base your, like, business's survival on whether or not you can pay your minimum wage employees to do their work. Yeah, the other thing about the work-life thing for the McDonald's work-life plan is it literally included a second job. A second, like, full-time job, mind you. It wasn't just like, oh yeah, you know, pull another 20 hours here so you have, like, full-time across the board. No, it was expecting these people to work 60 to 80 hours just to be able to afford, like, rent and food and so on and so forth. And it's like, it's wildly unrealistic. I worked 50 hours a week generally, and it was painful. Hey, those guys. Let's not worry about them for now. We can't even make it there unless we stop that press. Also come back to Wander talking about economics. Strange. It shouldn't be that strange considering the setting that I'm currently in. Of course I'm going to talk about, like, wage slaves and horrible work culture. I feel like it would even out because people could spend money on stuff again. Also that, like... I mean, there are way more knowledgeable people for this, so of course I, like, don't actually know how it all work. But considering having, like, an actual livable wage is actually survivable in a lot of other places, I don't see why it can't work here. I don't know. Hard to say. As long as we don't run into issues where, like, the retirement age is, like, 40 or 50 like it is in Greece, I think we'll be okay. And mainly I just believe that, like, poverty is this kind of weird, fucked up thing that no one should be, like, intentionally gunning for, like, half the population to be in. And it always feels like when it comes to minimum wage and stuff like that, it's people making the argument that, like, well, you just have to get a better job or you just have to suck it up, instead of being like, oh shit, if you're, like, super poor, that kind of drags down the whole country. Okay. But no, I don't know. I have a lot of relatives that kind of operate under the mindset of, like, fuck you, I got mine. And that, I think maybe that's kind of why I'm biased with this, and I will admit I don't actually have, like, much of a well thought out standpoint on this, apart from, like, these people just sound crazy. But my aunt and uncle were railing against minimum wage a while back, and I had to leave the room because they were just complaining about how these, like, you know, greedy minimum wage workers just wanted more money, and it's just like, no, they just want enough money so that they're not starving to death and stuff like that. And yeah, the other problem is we have, like, a very top-heavy economic situation, not just in the US, but, like, in the world. So, I guess, kind of given this example that we're currently playing, Okamura is this, like, effectively, he is nobility. He is so rich. He is... Glory to our wonderful President Okamura, and him alone. We shall give our utmost effort for him. Yeah, it's like, it's that exactly. He is this, like, ultra-rich dude. And, like, to be fair, business owners absolutely deserve to kind of be wealthy as a result of their successes, but at the same time, maybe not this wealthy? Let us consume our slop and gleefully re-energize. Like, I'm trying to think of a good example. There have been a number of YouTubers at this point who have... I'm sorry? There we go. I was like, why can't I get across that? That's a problem. Wait, what? Where is I going? Oh, it's this one over here. Nope. Didn't make it. I went to the wrong one. It's actually also a problem with a lot of game studios. Now that I'm thinking, I don't know. I don't want to talk about this too much while I'm playing a game, because I'm getting, like, way too distracted. Because it's hard to pay attention. But, like, I guess the point I'm trying to make is, now that I've kind of got my head in the headspace so we can get to this place, is just, like, it's always really hard to feel bad for, like, big companies like McDonald's, where the owners are, like, these ultra-rich people that have, like, yachts and whatnot, and, you know, the company is doing just about as well as it always had. And you have workers that are doing worse and worse over the years. Because, like... Oh, hello. This will take us directly to those dangerous employees. But we have to do this. I smell the treasure somewhere past where they are. Brace yourselves. Like, for crying out loud, when I hear about, like, some extremely wealthy businessman with, like, gold-plated toilets and shit like that, I'm just like, okay. At that point, I don't think he deserves that much money. That is ridiculous nonsense. For the company, for our wonderful President Okamura, any who approaches this place will be crushed. We shall carry out our president's will with glee. Let's see. Yeah, one of the things that always gets me, actually, and this is not something that can be... Oh, we don't actually know what's up with these guys. One thing that always gets to me, is specifically in the US, is the ability for, like, your boss to fire you for, like, anything. Obviously, I've never had to deal with it, because for the most part, I actually have not been employed. I've been self-employed, which is kind of a blessing and a curse in a lot of ways. But I've had friends that have been, like, afraid to go vote on voting day, because, oh no, you know, my boss is gonna fire me if I do so, and I'm like... That makes no sense. In no world should you be afraid to go vote, for any reason, you know, local or otherwise. Or like doctor's appointments, or like just a bunch of things. It's like, you should never be afraid to do that stuff. Did we just miss the same? We just missed the same guys. Oh, that's okay, they're dying pretty quick. I mean, heck, we could actually probably just turn this on auto-battle. Oh, wait, no. Never mind. They're resistant to physical. Let's avoid that. The voting thing is legal. It is not illegal, actually. So the way the voting thing is you have to... You are allowed to go vote, but you can be forced to go vote during your you can be forced to go vote during your like break period. So for example, you have a 30-minute lunch. Your boss can say you have to go vote during this period, and if you're not back by then, I'm firing you. And so most people just don't go out and vote because they can't afford to lose the job. I guess an even more like poignant recent example that I can think of is oh, we have a second phase. That sucks. More poignant recent example is I have a number of friends down in Florida right now. And they're actually afraid of leaving Florida. And they're like in Miami or like pretty close to the Keys. Like they are in the ultra fucked zone if Irma is as strong as it looks like it's going to be. And they're afraid to leave, to get to safety, because if they do, they'll lose their job. And to me, that is like the most terrifyingly capitalistic thing I've ever heard. You should not be afraid to save your life, just so you can keep whatever crappy job you have. I don't know, it bugs the shit out of me. Yeah, you have to vote on your own time, which you don't get with minimum wage. Yeah, one thing that I thought was particularly scummy with this past election cycle was actually a number of young people specifically were getting overbooked, like double or triple shifts on voting day, specifically so they couldn't vote. I thought that was fucked up. Like I don't care who they're voting for. I don't care who you're voting for. But like the idea that like a boss can specifically just make it so half of his employees just simply can't spare the time to go vote, like just so they can't vote for the candidate that the boss presumably doesn't like. Like, that is so scummy. Isn't that what vacations are for? You don't get vacations on minimum wage. If you're an hourly worker, you have to request time off, and guess who gets to approve time off? Your boss. Can they really double book you like that? Oh, hell yeah. They can triple book you if you want. There are certain labor laws, but mainly a boss can tell you to work as much as they want, as long as they pay you for it. If they don't pay you for it, then it's illegal. But otherwise, like, it is totally legal for them to just more or less overwork the shit out of you. I think there are some requirements, like you can't make a person work for, like, more than 24 hours straight, but I could be wrong about that. Labor laws in the US are garbage. The main logic there is usually like, well, if you don't like it, then just quit. The heck? That was easy as hell. I mean, they're overworked, brainwashed, and forced to go up against an impossible enemy. I hope nobody ever treats me like that after I turn back into a human. Come on, let's keep going. Don't look so down, Noir.
Focus.
One of the industries I was interested in getting into. Huh. Wonder what that is. I guess that's a laser bridge, just to prove, like, hey, you can't go through here. I was hoping I could open it up as a shortcut, but it doesn't matter. Can't you not accept payment? Isn't that a thing that is legal? No. Oh, well, I mean, you can accept not to get paid by your job, but, like, why would you do that? That's insane. What in the... Fuel addition has increased output. Incinerator throughput has reached approximately 270%. The employees are being dumped into that incinerator. No, they're turning all the worn-down robots into fuel. That means the power source running this factory. It's people's lives. Noir, are you okay? I'm not... Huh? I'm not going to forgive my father for this. I can't believe this is how he sees his workers. Let's go, everyone. We will change his heart, no matter what. Yes. Right, we're with you all the way, Noir. Yeah, so I was looking into getting a job in QA. Since I couldn't get a job in art, I was like, well, screw it, I'll see if I can get a QA job.
It seems.
Hello. I like this area. Ooh, pretty. New things, too. This area is called the airlock area. Wait, does that mean we have to go out into space? Putting it lightly, I believe such an action would lead to our extermination. Well, apparently you'll be okay for like 30 seconds if you keep your eyes and mouth shut. Huh, honestly, I would have thought we'd just explode out there. Don't scare us, damn it! Yeah, so I was planning on getting into QA, and I was reading some pretty bad horror stories, like how video game studios have, like, just the worst crunch time ever. If you want to hear about it, look up, I think it was EA Mom. Oh, I should actually go back in and save. So, like, specifically developers, go effectively make video games on super ultra crunch time. Thanks for the super chats, by the way, some guy. But like, to get into QA, you have to be okay with working like 80 to 100-hour weeks and like sleeping in the office and not going home for days straight and days on end, I guess would be the word. Are you serious? Wow. This is kind of messed up.
For real?
Okay. And to me, that's just like such a horrifying idea of like having to work that much just to work on a video game. And developers have to do that normally. I got lucky at the place I worked at where generally I only ever had to work 80 hours a week once every couple of months, which was nice. And I got paid fairly well for that, considering, but still, it sucked. It appears as though we will need to move about in the same manner as before. To think we'd end up flying through space. The eye felt seeing that flying bank feels like a distant memory at this point. I'm curious what the other palaces are going to look like. It could be really cool. Huh? Wait a sec. Some airlocks are working, but others aren't. I hope we can reach our goal with just the ones that are on.
Somewhere.
This is a cool area, but the idea of flying through space like this is weird and messed up. And terrifying. I'm like actually really... Oh, hi! I'm actually really scared of the idea of somehow being sucked into space at some point. Okay, well I can't do much of anything, so I'll just hit him. I guess I could have shot him a bunch. Approximately how far in this game am I? I want to say I am, Oh, I forgot I had this guy. Oh, right. I forgot I had gotten rid of the luck character. Well, that's fine. No, we didn't get it. Alright, well, he's got a miracle punch. Maybe we'll get lucky. Otherwise, they'll just shoot him a bunch. Oh, she has a grenade launcher. Well, that didn't do much of anything. He is probably gonna run away from me. Oh, maybe not. There we go. That's the stuff. But yeah, I don't know, just the idea of how kind of businesses are run under the excuse of, if we can't do these horrible things, then we can't exist as a business. And I'm like, maybe you shouldn't exist as a business if you have to do all this, like, awful stuff. It's kind of like why I'm always super grumpy about, it's why I'm super grumpy about the idea of, oh, here we go. I'm super grumpy about, like, what Shadow of War is turning out to be. Okay, so we have switches for this. I could have read it, but, like, who cares? But, you know, a lot of developers have starting to come up with excuses like, if we don't put in these, like, extremely awful DLC practices, we can't make games anymore. We can't afford to make Shadow of War without in-app purchases and pay-to-win microtransactions and stuff like that. And I'm like, at that point, maybe the game shouldn't be made. Like, maybe it shouldn't exist if that's the kind of thing you have to do. I'm having kind of a hard time with Destiny 2 right now, which admittedly I haven't even played it yet. But they're selling dyes, in-game, like, dye skin packs or whatever. I don't actually remember what these guys are weak to. Sigh. Ah, well, that's helpful. And like, they're consumable. Where in the previous game, you just unlock rare dyes and you could use them as many times as you want. I'm like, this feels like such a stupid thing to kind of burn people on. But I guess they do. Yeah, look at GTA 5 and how bad it's become. Oh yeah, I'm not touching a single, I'm not touching a single GTA game ever again. That's horrible. I don't think the Shadow of War thing will catch on. You say that, but that's what people said about horse armor, and now DLC is normal. And now DLC is the norm. And to be fair, I'm a sucker for DLC. I've actually bought a fair number of DLCs for this game, but at least it was kind of voluntary. I didn't need it, and for me it was kind of worth it just because it was this, like, dumb cool thing as opposed to anything else. So those are, yeah, we don't need this. Whereas, like, for Shadow of War, maybe they're not necessary either, but I shouldn't have to pay for, like, in-game currency or characters for a multiplayer thing. Like, I shouldn't have to pay for that stuff. Oh, hello. I don't think I've ever fought this thing before. That is a weird outfit. That is a weird anything. Well, let's just try fire. I think DLCs can be good if priced right. I totally agree. I think there are totally, like, reasonable ways of handling DLC that most companies don't do. You know, let's just hit this one. She's not resistant to physical. What about paid mods? Oh, awful. I think paid mods are, like, the shittiest thing ever. Ow. People have been asking for a while for me to play Fallout 4 again, and I'm like super on the wall.
Just like I thought.
about like any more Bethesda products, because like the whole paid mods thing is just so annoying. Let's get rid of Mind Slash, because Rising Slash is kind of useful against bosses and whatnot. I think StarCraft's DLC is one of the best examples of good DLC. Oh yeah, there's a lot of really good DLC practices out there that I'm totally willing to accept. But like, I don't want to feel nickel and dimed for a game. A good example would be like Final Fantasy 15, which was a inherently flawed product to begin with. And okay, it was an inherently flawed product to begin with, and kind of unfinished. Like, it was missing whole story sections, and apparently you get access to those whole story sections as part of the season pass, which is kind of painful. It's not terrible, but it's just like, this is why season passes bug me. Back in the day, you used to have expansion passes, which I thought expansion packs were awesome. Look at Red Alert 2, which is quite possibly one of my favorite games ever, at least of my childhood. You had the original campaign, which was awesome and self-contained and worked great, and then you had the you had the expansion roll along for an extra like $20-30 or whatever. I'm not entirely sure. And it was a completely new story that served as like a micro sequel to the base game, and that was awesome. Like Brood War, and I mean honestly, kind of what StarCraft 2 did, sorta. Does that turn them both on? No. I'm really confused about how this works. How is this supposed to work? But yeah, at this point, I'm kind of okay with cosmetic skins, like special cosmetic skins, maybe. Would be the phrase to use. Oh, I think we got it, actually. I think we're kind of good to leave. Yeah. I'm trying to think of other games that had, like, where the DLC was kind of necessary to actually finish this. The color of the switch affects what portals turn off. Yeah, I didn't even notice. But we solved it anyway, just because I pulled the random right one. Yeah, but I prefer stuff with where the DLC isn't considered story content. Oh, actually, like a really appropriate one would almost be Tyranny. Tyranny is this really good CRPG.
I'm so glad.
Looks like this is the end. We did it, you guys. That was simple. Let's keep blazing a path through here. Tyranny is a great game that was like super inherently flawed because they didn't end it. It's like missing. I mean, it felt like the middle of a game. Kind of skipped to the beginning and it skipped the ending. And then they came out with a $20 DLC that's just pure side content, and it's like, no, end the game, finish the game. What about Mass Effect and having to be online to finish it? Don't talk to me about anything Mass Effect related. What do we have to do this time? Looks like the same as before, but I'm not entirely sure. Hey. Alright, well, safe room. That's good.